sometimes you have one of these moments in life when something that you've been thinking about for a very, very long time, but are actually not thinking about it at that particular point in time, that thing finds you when you're not thinking about it. January or February 2019, pre pandemic, before the world became something else. I was working in Japan at the time, and it was, I think, a Saturday evening that I had gone to look for a particular guitar. This is a shop called Nico Nico Guitars. It's in Shibuya, not very far from Shibuya. Shibuya being the place with the famous crossing and the dog and all of that. And I went there because a month ago I had gone there and I had seen a PRS Modern Eagle 1. I had not gotten it because I just thought it was just too expensive. In retrospect, it's way cheaper than what they are today, but that's a different story. So I had gone back and I decided, you know what, it may be a poor financial decision, but it's a rare guitar, it's a really good example, I should go and get it. So I went there. The Modern Eagle one was still there, it was hanging there. I met the guy again, the shop guy. But I wanted to try it out one more time. And he said, sure, but you need to wait because there's another person who's trying out another guitar. So just wait, take a look around the shop. So I did. And that's when I went roaming around the shop. Now, I am very much a Gibson and a PRS guy. I never ever venture over to the Fender section. It's just who I am. But I did because I had time to kill. So I walked over. And before I get into what I saw, which is of course this, but the thing is, like many people, the Beatles is a big part of the music that I listen to. There was an entire time period after my A-level exams, just when they finished. That's when I kind of discovered the Beatles, and I think for 3 months all I did was listen to the Beatles Anthology 1, Anthology 2, and play Need for Speed. I think Porsche Unleashed 2000 or something. So I was playing Need for Speed and I was listening to the Beatles. That's what I did for 2 months before I went to university. When I went to university, I got to see all the music videos, and I was very, very intrigued by the guitar that George Harrison was playing I think it was in the rooftop concert and a couple of other places. This all wood guitar. I didn't know what it was. So I found it intriguing. Few years later, I found out, oh, that's a Telecaster. Oh, that's a Rosewood Telecaster. It's fully made from rosewood. But somehow I'd never ever seen one in real life. I had never ever gotten one to try. So it had just been forgotten, even though it was something that I had really liked. And of course, when I really liked it, I never thought I could get it, right? Because who knows how expensive it is, and I was a student at the time. Fast forward 2019, 15 years after after that period when I was listening to the Beatles, there was a Rosewood Telecaster hanging, this particular guitar. And I was like, should I take a look at it? I mean, I want it, but there's that Modern Eagle one, but hey, but I've never seen a Rosewood Telecaster before. I have to at least try it out. So I said, hey, can you also bring this down? So I also tried this, and guess what? I am a big PRS fan, don't get me wrong, and I did end up buying a Modern Eagle one later. But this guitar, even though again I'm not a Fender guy, I'm not into the single coil sound as much, for something about it, the resonance, the feel, whatever makes the guitar special, this guitar just blew that particular Modern Eagle one out of the ground. It was a great Modern Eagle one, but this was a greater guitar, frankly. And you would think I'm faced with a very difficult choice, but it wasn't difficult at all, because I thought, you know what, it's a Rosewood Telecaster. It's something that I know I want. I'm sure maybe I'll find another Modern Eagle one somewhere, but will I find another Fender that I like? Because normally I don't like Fenders. Will I find another Rosewood Telecaster I like? Will I find another Rosewood Telecaster? So I just decided to get it, and I do not regret it one bit. So let's get into the meat and potatoes. What is this exactly? This is a 2009 Fender custom shop Rosewood Telecaster. It's a closet classic, which means it has very, very light aging. When I say light aging, it has one little dent and some scratches, which has been there since I got the guitar. So I guess that's what makes it a closet classic. I don't know. It is, as I said, from 2009. This has a full rosewood body with a maple splice in between, as was done with George Harrison's guitar. Rosewood fretboard, rosewood neck, bolt on 25.5 in scale to Telecaster, standard Telecaster electronics, twisted telly bridge pickup, and a regular telly neck pickup. I'll just put the description here. Interesting thing about the fretboard is that it is rosewood, but it is lacquered rosewood. It's a bit like how they have lacquered maple. And that's it, yeah, it's basically a telly. For me, this particular guitar is greater than the sum of its parts. I don't know whether it's the rosewood construction, whether it is the pickups, what is there about it, but this guitar is essentially a guitar that is alive. It's a guitar that has a balanced sound but a bite when you dig in. It's a guitar that has a lot of versatility in the sense that it depends a lot on the way you play your pick. And unlike humbucker guitars, maybe it's a single coil thing, it starts off with a very, very clean sound, but you can dirty it up just by how you play it. Whereas humbucker guitars, if you're playing a low gain sound, it's already a little bit dirty to begin with. Now, to be clear, this is not just me talking about the benefits of single coil over humbuckers. I have tried many single coil guitars and I do not like them at all. I find them anemic. I find them weak. I do not like them. It feels thin, brittle to me. This guitar doesn't feel like that. This guitar feels bright, yet very, very balanced and nice, with a lot of versatility. I hope you get a sense also of how well this guitar takes gain, how well this guitar goes with effects. Overall, it's just a very, very nice guitar. The other thing that I forgot to mention about it is the playability. So even though this has not the largest frets, even though this has not a fat neck but not a thin neck either, even though this has the standard Fender radius of 9 and a quarter, not 7.5, it is still incredibly easy to play anything, any technical music, any shred, anything. So that's another thing, despite this being a very old design, makes it a guitar that I really enjoy. Some problems that I have with some of those American vintage or those custom shop ones with a 7.25, 7.5, 7.25, whatever radius and really tiny frets is that I can't deal with that. I bend too much. I do more modern techniques too much, but this one is just perfectly fine. what do you think the final thoughts are? Is this a keeper? Of course it is. Do I like this guitar? Of course I do. Should you get one? Of course you should if you can find one. But jokes apart, there is of course a Fender George Harrison uh, made in USA Telecaster, which is also very popular. If it was me, and it was, I mean, this is what I've done, I would be more akin to getting this. Specs wise, this is actually probably a little bit closer to the actual George Harrison guitar. And being a custom shop, there's this ineffable quality about Fender custom shop guitars, which I didn't believe in, but after owning a few, they are significantly better than regular Fender USA guitars. I don't know why. On the face of it, they're similar, bolt on, etc. But it's the quality is definitely much better. I've had Fender USA guitars where the electronics have been a bit wonky. These guys' electronics are amazing. And somehow just the kinds of wood chosen, balance, the construction, whatever it might be, they're much, much better. So I would highly recommend, don't pay the artist tag of getting the George Harrison Fender USA Telecaster. Get this. There are some, when I say get this, get any Fender custom shop Rosewood Telecaster with reasonably, with decent specs. And all of them are spec'd exactly like this actually. This is not a model that gets a lot of crazy hot rodding. So just get one of those and you will be very, very happy. Even if you have a Telecaster already, it's a great addition. It sounds different from regular Telecaster. And in general, who doesn't love the Beatles? Alright, I hope this was helpful. Till next time.